idea the amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Tiara.
Hello.
All right, guys, we're back. This is a preview to episode 205, Miss Evers Boys. This is the 1997 American made-for-television war drama starring Alfre Woodard, Laurence Fishburne, and Joe Morton, and Ozzie Davis. So while this is a made-for-TV movie, which normally spells not as great quality as a film that makes it into theaters, at least back in the day that was true. This movie won 11 Academy Awards. Was nominated for 11 Academy Awards and won 4 of them. So it's not a small thing. This is about the Tuskegee Experiment, which feels very timely, considering what's happening in the world. So there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of BS about what happened in the Tuskegee Experiments because people don't read and are pretty ignorant, even though they cite it as their reasons for doing certain things. So we thought we would do a movie about the Tuskegee Experiment directly and talk about, I'm sure we'll talk about COVID in depth during it. You can watch this actually on HBO Max right now. Also, if you are good at searching, you can find it on YouTube for free as well if you don't have HBO Max. So, and by being good at searching, I mean type in the name of the movie. It's right there. It's about 2 hours. So check out Miss Evers Boys again on HBO Max or on YouTube. And we will talk about that in depth next week. As far
Great
as
cast.
What's that?
This is a great cast too.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this one. I saw that Oba Babatunde's in this, and I love him.
That dude is awesome in
acting.
everything. Yeah, he's great. So this will be the second movie in a row that we're doing starring Laurence Fishburne or co-starring him. Okay, so the random topic this week is about mandates, like COVID mandates. We'll talk about vaccinations and all this other stuff and how that affects the Black community, I'm sure, with next week's episode. But there is a lot of cities and states right now talking about and putting into action actual mandates for COVID vaccinations and or having negative tests, right? Like a recent negative test within like 24 hours or 48 hours. And so we want to talk about that because that seems to be controversial. And from my perspective, I know Tiara, you were saying like New York City is planning on doing this. New Orleans is talking about doing this. LA is talking about doing this. Like to go to the movies, to go to the gym, to go to basically any sort of public, closed places, right? Like indoor places, restaurants and things like that. From my perspective, good. Sorry. I don't care that you don't get to go, to a club or get to go to the gym, because you've decided that you don't want to get vaccinated. That's fine. You don't have to get vaccinated. That's on you. You don't have to go to those places. So, though there is part of me that thinks that these things shouldn't have to be mandatory, but rather people would just use common sense. But since that it does not seem to be happening for a large portion of the population, yeah, if companies and businesses want to make sure that their places are safe and that their patrons are safe, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. They're private businesses.
Yeah. I know like there's been a lot of talk about how capitalism got us into this problem, which seems like a social media soundbite more than anything. But honestly,
I don't even understand what that means.
Yeah, what?
It's Twitter. That's all. It's the land of soundbites.
Like Jeff Bezos didn't create it at Amazon. Like what the hell are you talking about?
Doesn't matter, Jay.
I guess they mean because of healthcare, like lack of healthcare. But that doesn't really
lack of healthcare
make any sense.
And the rushing to get back to the economy, which is
okay. That part's fair. That's not what got us into it. Like that's not what you should write. But it certainly has made it complex. I would agree with that.
But I will also say, like, part of the reason and I know we're going to talk more about it next week, but like, it seems like these major companies that are requiring vaccinations, it seems like they're going to have to do all of the, at least a lot of the leading before these vaccines get full FDA approval. But also, I am totally okay with vaccine mandates and vaccine passports. You can't come outside and play unless you do your homework first, and your homework is literally just getting a free vaccine. Here in the Bay Area, there is talk about San Francisco specifically doing the same thing as New York and LA. The reception here to that has been, it's been fine, it's been normal, but also like here the coronavirus cases are actually falling here because people are getting vaccinated. But it is interesting seeing some businesses mandate proof of vaccination, which is, I do wonder how that's going to be enforced and how you're going to be actually be able to prove that people have been vaccinated. Hopefully, I think New York is having something called like what the New York City Key or something. But there's a very popular bar here in San Jose, and they told people you have to show us a vaccine card or something on your phone. Here in California, you can actually put your vaccination status using an app on your phone now.
Yeah, Apple apparently is coming out with an update to their health app that would allow you to upload a copy of your vaccination card, so you don't have to like you don't have to carry it around. Like I have mine, I don't carry it around, but I have it in like a protective sleeve for that very reason, in case they do start to ask for it. But it'd be nice to just have it on your phone and not have to think about it.
And like here, we've also had this thing called California Notify, where you could sign up for this app or for the service, and they will ping you if you've come across someone who's tested positive for coronavirus recently, and then they'll tell you to quarantine or get tested. I don't understand how you have people who are mad about vaccine mandates, but also complain about the pandemic not ending.
And mask mandates.
And I'm just like, your opinion doesn't mean shit here. Like, we are in this thing as long as people choose to not get vaccinated.
Right.
And I'm all for businesses doing whatever they need to do. And also, I hope actually state governments start mandating folks to get vaccinated too. I know we saw that Department of Defense from the federal government mandated vaccines, and they're like the largest employer in the U.S.
For the military. Yeah.
For the military. Okay. Do whatever it takes. I saw Disney is mandating it. Walmart is a little weird. I think they're kind of mandating it for some people.
They're mandating it for their corporate office.
Oh, that's bullshit.
No, that tells you something.
Yeah.
They take it seriously. Like, oh, you poor people don't want to do it? Good luck with that.
Right.
Us rich people running the shit, we make sure we're vaccinated.
We can get more of you. We can get another cashier.
That's right.
Yeah.
We can get a 75-year-old to go, hi, welcome to Walmart. Like,
right. Yeah. They want the infrastructure to be okay.
That's right. You know what I mean? Like, but that should be telling, right? Like, this idea, and I don't want to get too deep into it because of next week's episode, where I do want to get into it, but like, it should be telling that rich and powerful people are like, yeah, of course I'm vaccinated. Like, if you think this is a scam or some shit, why are the most powerful people in the world getting it?
Fox News. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you think they're protecting themselves?
So let's get back to mandates. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Do you feel like, and I'm like actual devil's advocate, not like, well, no, like actual devil's advocate.
Just asking questions.
Do you think that that this could lead to a slippery slope of the government overreaching, right? Like I see people, well, really one person on my timeline from Florida who is a white man who is in his 50s, screaming about, it's all about choice. It's
check on him in 2 weeks.
Choice that, right? And so do you feel like this could lead to a slippery slope of government mandating anything, right? Like,
Sure.
what if I can't even, because I don't have that thought process, so I can't even give an
You're
example.
trying to pretend to be stupid. I got it.
Yeah.
like, no, it's
You don't
hard,
have to
right?
say thought
It's
process.
hard.
You could just say, I can't pretend to be as stupid as these other motherfuckers who were saying this stuff. But go ahead.
So
I'm dumb, but I'm smart.
do you feel like this is one step closer to losing our freedoms or yeah, whatever?
So I guess I would answer that question immediately by saying, no, that's ridiculous. Two, the second part to that is I would look at history, which is an important, it's not an end all be all, but it is an important thing to look at, which if you look at the history of this country, and by history, I mean like literally in my lifetime, in all of our lifetimes, there have been things that have been mandated, like you can't seatbelts. You can't, like, that's a big one, right? Like that's a big one. People,
when you send your child to school,
you can't send them into public school without being vaccinated. Like that's
without your MMR vaccine,
right? Like that's a part. Like that's not a thing. That's like that wasn't 50 years ago. That's right now. Like right? Like so. I don't understand the argument that if we mandate this vaccine, then it becomes a slippery slope. They've been mandating vaccines to go into public schools, which covers the vast majority of people all over the country. The vast majority of people in this school, or excuse me, in this country, go to public schools. The vast majority do. Even like charter schools in, like public charters and things like that. And I'm pretty sure even private charters, unless they are a actual private school, they have to I guess if you're a private charter or you're an actual private school, then you don't have to do vaccines. But those places a lot of times are like, nah, but you still need that because they don't need outbreaks of like mumps and measles in 2021. It's silly.
So I went to a private school. I went to a private Catholic school.
No, they don't believe in science.
Don't look. They still required us to get vaccinated.
Yeah, you goddamn right they did. Right? But for real though, stop fucking around. Now Jesus wanted you to take this. Like, no, but you can't risk the lives of those children, right? Like
right.
Like they're supposed to be stewards of those children's health while they're at the school. Like, in all seriousness, right? And I'm sure they give a fuck about that. Like that's silly. But like private schools in Maryland during when they were like starting to send kids back before the public schools, they were like, no, it's cool. Because like the vaccine didn't exist at the time, and they were like, "No, it's cool, but you gotta wear a mask. Like that's a mandate. Like you can't come here and just do whatever you want." So no, I don't think it's a slippery slope. I think that's a very easy thing to say. And obviously Micah's not saying this, but like it's a very easy thing to say when you don't want to actually have a real conversation about it, right? And about what this stuff actually means. That being said, look. Is it a little scary for the government to be like, we're going to do this one thing across the board? Sure. That's why they're not doing that. Like, that's why states are like, hey, you need this to go to our schools, right? It's not a federal, I don't think it's a federal mandate that you need those vaccines to go to schools. That's a state mandate, right? It just so happens that all the states are like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
like,
we believe in science. We don't want kids getting sick, teachers and kids getting sick. Yeah.
Right. But like, you can look back at the polio vaccine. They didn't ask anybody anything. You came to school and you got it. Like they didn't ask you. There was a mandate. Like you had so many people were dying, and afflicted with polio. They were like, no, we're not having this conversation. Get the fuck out of here. Like we're doing this. And people were like, back then people were just like, you're right. Right. Like it was what it was. It wasn't that those people were sheep or something like that. It was that they saw an existential threat and they decided to deal with it as a society. Yeah. So no, I don't think it's necessarily a slippery slope, but I do think I can understand if you want to take all the nuance out of it. I can understand why people think that. But here's the thing: you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't take all the nuance out of the conversation. You should talk about it realistically. So,
I mean, I agree. The answer for me is no, and I guess my follow-up question is: so, what is the solution? Like, how do we get out of this?
Right.
It feels, because it really feels like we're going in a circle with these people who don't want to do anything. And that's what it really comes down to. They don't want to do anything. They want to pretend like we're not in the situation that we're in now, and like hundreds of thousands of people haven't died. But my question is, what is the solution? Because I don't know about anyone else, but I don't feel particularly special in this pandemic. I feel like it could come for any one of us.
Yeah.
And also, like, when it comes to mandates and freedom, like you don't have the freedom to give someone else sick, right?
That's
is
correct.
that like, I feel like that's kind of sensible to say.
I feel,
but also, I think Jay, I think you brought up earlier about like testing regularly. I'm also okay. I'm also good with that too. But I'm not. I'm okay with that being like the second option, like for people who aren't vaccinated. I guess I'm saying is I'm okay for making life as inconvenient as possible for people who are not vaccinated until they become mandated by pretty much every business. Like I said, once the FDA approval finally goes through, please hurry up, FDA. Like, then I think businesses probably won't hesitate to just say like proof of vaccination.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you're like in New York, or if you're in New York or LA or the Bay Area or some place where they're mandating proof of vaccination to patronize the services, you have the freedom to not go. So, and also for New York in particular, a lot of it's like indoor dining. You don't need to dine indoors. You can do takeout. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym. You can do your workouts outdoors. There are ways to continue to live your life, your unvaccinated ass life, and outside of these mandates. It's just going to be very inconvenient to do so.
So I agree with you. Micah, I will play devil's advocate to you. Should we just, as a society, ostracize people who are unvaccinated? And by the way, I mean people who could be vaccinated, right, and are not. I'm not talking about people who are immunocompromised and they cannot be vaccinated, or people who are underage that cannot be, or people who have some sort of like wackadoodle sort of situation, health wise.
You're talking about the I'm a wait and see. I'm gonna wait till 2022 or 2023.
Yeah. See if you be here that long. I'm talking about those people, right? You can get vaccinated, you just choosing not to. Do we ostracize them, or do we just chalk it up to, hey, this is a part of the society, and that these, like, you can't fix stupid, and that these people are going to just be a part of it, and we just have to deal with it?
I think that ostracizing them is what they want. I think even if you could ostracize them, the society wouldn't collapse, but it would be inconvenient for everyone, because I think there's enough people who refuse to get this thing that if you ostracize them from society, they would, like, you would feel the impact.
Sure.
But I have no problem shaming them at every turn. I have no problem shaming people.
That's the Mike I know.
Yeah, man. Like,
fuck these people.
Like I have no problem if you wanna, cut them down, call them stupid, or, I firmly believe that you should really try your best to try and explain to people in a reasonable manner. But, if you get fed up, I get it. And if you want to shame them into it, if you want to exploit them, if you want to tug on their heartstrings, like, hey, you want to see your grandniece, your nephew, your little baby, you can't until you get it. And
that's the move. That's the move.
I'm perfectly fine with doing stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I'm perfectly fine with telling people, like, you can't come over here, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or I can't be in the same place with you until you get it. Like, we know a few people who believe in like holistic medicine or whatever fucking nonsense, and we just don't hang out with them. Like, we're cool. They get it. We get it. But, it's just, it is what it is.
People in my wife's family who live in India, who believe in Ayurvedic medicine, are like, no, we getting the vaccine, knock it off. Like, what the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking
because
about?
they saw how that shit worked through their country.
Right. Yeah, they
you
lost
imagine,
400,000 people from Delta alone. Not just COVID, just the Delta variant. No, that's fucking insane.
So yeah, I got no problem ostracizing them. And if these mandates help shame people into either A, getting it, or B, staying home, I don't care. I don't, you can do either one of those things. You can get it or you can stay home. That's fine. If these mandates force people to make that decision, then it's all good for me. I am perfectly fine with that. You can still be a productive member of society. But like when it comes to I'm A-okay with jobs mandate. My job is mandated. I got
Oh, really?
I got an email from my bureau chief, and the bureau chief said this came directly from the county manager.
God damn.
And he's
that's
like,
basically the mayor, right? Like that's the
that's basically the mayor for where we live, for where I work. And he's like, look, if you want to come into any building that we lease, occupy, own, you need to be vaccinated. And you have to show proof of vaccination, and you have to upload your card to our website that we have to prove that you're vaccinated.
Damn.
So I love it.
Look, I know
that shit in my veins.
Now, my job has not required it, but both of you know what I do for a living. I can't imagine they would allow. Hell no. Are you serious?
You ain't that far. Like nah, like they're not playing. And I don't have a problem with a business saying that.
Absolutely really not. That's what
because
that's
they have to protect their best interests, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's funny how when this is happening, then businesses, people are like, well, businesses shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah. How about that?
You know what's not good for business? Dying workers and dying customers
and shutdowns.
What's not good for business? Shutdowns and lawsuits. That's what they're worried about.
Yeah, they're not trying to. Hey, I just sent my 25-year-old son to come work at your job. Oh, he died of COVID. Give me my money. They're not trying to hear that shit.
Right.
Hell no.
Get out of here, man.
Nope.
It's about the money. Like, I mean, we talked, or did we talk about it on this show about the NFL mandate?
I don't think we did. I think we talked about it offline. Go ahead.
Okay, so for people who don't watch NFL, so the NFL has a new vaccine mandate. They say if they have to reschedule a game, if they have to cancel a game, they're not rescheduling it anymore. And the team responsible for the COVID outbreak takes the L, and neither team gets paid for that game.
Yo. Look, it's a genius move, right? It's a super smart move.
And let me tell you, there were players, Jimmy Graham, who came out who were like, I felt forced. I'm like, no, people like Jimmy Graham, like, you have more than enough, but you can retire today. You will be set for life.
I felt
saying
forced.
Saying that you were forced to get vaccinated tells me that you are not trying to fuck up your bag. And I am okay with people basically saying, like, you either get vaccinated or you risk this consequence. We're all from Baltimore here. We all know who Lamar Jackson is.
A dummy. A dummy. Like,
Lamar Jackson, is the star quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens and is one of the best QBs in the league, just recovered from COVID for the second time. He had COVID back in November. He got it again. And he said that it wasn't a fun time for him. And he is a world-class athlete, and he's even struggled with COVID. But when asked if he was going to get vaccinated, he said it was a personal decision. He has to talk to his team doctors. I think we can probably guess what the team doctor said. Get the fucking shot.
Now, I love that. I got to talk to the team doctor. You got to talk to the team doctor. People, 635 at last count, 635,000 people have died. You got to talk to a doctor to figure this one out.
Mm-hmm. And it's
how many sacks have they got on you? How many times you hit your head on the ground? You all right? Get out of here, yo.
It's interesting because it's like
stupid ass
him saying, "Oh, it's a personal decision." I don't want to talk about, but I respect anyone. That's another thing that they do. They couch it in I respect people.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't respect. Look, if you can take it and you don't, I don't respect you. Look, sorry. Look, if you're listening, you're like, hey, but I'm one of those people. Shrug. I don't give a fuck. Look, people are dying. You are directly responsible for more variants, right? It's not about you just making a choice. This is the fucking problem. People are so grossly fucking uneducated about this shit.
And selfish.
Right. The reason why people are like, hey man, if you could get the shot, get the fucking shot. We're not saying it because we want you to be in our club. We don't give a fuck. Like, it's not, hey, if you do it, I'll do it. Then, like, we'll all go to the vaccination party. No, it's not that, you dumb fuck. It's a science thing. The less people who are vaccinated and get it, the more it touches more humans, the more it has a chance to mutate. And the worse the mutations get. We're not so when I hear people say, my body, my choice, which is really fucking obnoxious, especially if you're not pro-choice. Fuck off. Like, when you say that and you're saying it in a mocking way because you think that's your out.
That's a catch-all.
That's a catch-all, and that's your way out of this whole thing. What you don't understand, obviously, is that
we're asking your body, though.
Right, we're asking you to get it so that this society fucking survives. Because what will happen inevitably if you dumb fucking people don't get vaccinated is that it will get worse and the variants will get worse and worse until it breaks the vaccine. And then we're all fucked again. So guess what? Then there are more lockdowns. Then there's more mandates. Then there is a reason we're asking, right? Like, and the reason why all these articles of like, oh, the vaccinated people are really upset and, angry at unvaccinated people is because this is simple fucking numbers, man. Like, if you don't do this, it will get worse. You want to go outside and do crazy, like, hot girl summer or whatever, hot boy summer or all this other shit? Get the fucking vaccine. Get the vaccine. You can have hot girl winter, right? Like, whatever. Like, just get the fucking shot if you can. It's ridiculous.
If you can. And again, we're not talking about people who cannot get it for different reasons. So
like they don't comment, but I can't. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about people who can. Lamar Jackson can get fucking vaccinated. It's ridiculous.
He surely can. And it's it will be interesting. I haven't been this excited for an NFL season in so long because I am waiting to see which team tries it. And if it has to be the Baltimore Ravens, I love them, but guess what?
No, I think this is a super smart move on the NFL's part. It takes all the responsibility away from like the big guns in management, right? Yep. Like Roger Goodell and all those other guys, right? It takes all the responsibility and it throws it all on the players.
Yep.
Okay.
As it should.
And the coaches.
Not just the players. It's everybody. Everybody.
Right. Coaches, nobody gets paid, right? So
everybody.
I mean, it's super smart.
The niggas that you see on the sideline with the sweatshirt, not even in uniform,
making the league minimum.
You better tell that nigga to get vaccinated, or if he's not vaccinated, he better stay home and mask up and social distance.
But like, it's smart because it's going to happen, right? A game is going to get canceled, and who's the number one people going to be pissed? It ain't going to be the players. Like, they're going to be mad. It's going to be the fans. And the fans are going to be like, get fucking vaccinated. They're going to be furious. And guess what? Roger Goodell's going to be like, I tried to tell him. Sorry. So it's a super smart move. Put it on them.
When Lamar Jackson came out and said all the stuff he said, I was thinking like, I listened to 105.7 Fan 2020 Sports in Baltimore, and I heard what the fans who don't live in Baltimore City but live in Harford County, Anne Arundel County, Eastern Shore. I've heard some of the stuff that they've said about the black players they don't like, and whenever a black or they're all black, with the exception of tight ends. I've heard how the things they say when they're disappointed in the player. I am going to be laughing my ass off if the Ravens lose a game or have to forfeit a game. And also it counts against their playoff seedings too. So shout out to them loser ass teams that are waiting for another team to fuck up so they can get in the playoffs.
Yes.
But like, let's say Lamar Jackson gets sick and there's an outbreak. The Ravens have to forfeit a game and they miss the playoffs. Oh my God. The unvaccinated Marylanders who go to the game, the unvaccinated ones are going to be like, well, that Lamar Jackson, he need to leave Baltimore. How about I hope he trades him? I don't like him anymore. I hate that boy. And it's going to be like all the racism. And I'm gonna be like,
but again, that's why Roger Goodell did that, right? Like, it's a smart move. Take it out of your hands. Look, that's your team. Look, we don't have to mandate it, but it's like a business, right? Like, the federal government doesn't have to right, but the federal government doesn't have to mandate this shit. Let businesses mandate it. All this tough talk about I'm not getting vaccinated.
You don't want government, like,
you don't need government to do this.
You don't need it, and you don't want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the government does it, the government doesn't know they are going to go full bore, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna. It's gonna be the broadest of broad, mandates. So you got to regulate this shit yourself. Yeah. And if you don't, like, they do it with movies. They do it with all kinds of media, right? Like comics and movies. Like they regulate the material so that they could still be able to sell this stuff to certain parties, right?
Right.
If you had government regulate like the stuff that we watch, everything would be G-rated because they ain't trying to deal with all that shit.
Right.
Same thing with this stuff. If you let federal government fucking mandate this shit, we're gonna be in lockdown again.
Yeah,
because they're not gonna want to deal with it.
Right. And also, who's gonna foot the bill if this shit keeps getting worse? Right. Like, this is not the Look For Political show, but in Germany, they're going to start, or at least they're thinking about having people pay for COVID tests.
I like that, by the way. I'm not cool with like, hey, you can come here if you had a COVID test, but I do like if you're going to do that, you make them pay for it.
Yeah.
I do like that. They ain't free no more. People be pissed.
I feel like it was probably a local DC news station or something that had a poll that said, "Do you care or would you care if jobs made employees pay for their own COVID-19 testing if they're unvaccinated?" And it was so great to see some of the responses because they were like, "No, I wouldn't care. Make them pay for it." Again,
no, I like that. Look, $20 a pop, but vaccines are free. Yeah. Go ahead. You want to do as many COVID tests as you want? That's fine. It's $20.
Not 20, 50.
Oh,
20. People throw $20 away easy, right? You can throw $20.
Yeah, but $20 gonna
it adds up.
It adds up real fast.
No, 50. Oh,
okay.
If you're making them take the test every day before they like come
no, not every day
or whatever. No, every day.
No, every day.
Every
day.
And fine, every other day.
Every other day.
I would be cool.
Every single day you come into that office because I don't know what you've been doing the night before.
I mean, this is my problem with the testing, right? Like, if you say it's once a week or every couple of days, you can get caught in the middle where you test negative, right? So, like, it kind of does need to be every day. So let's reduce the price, $10, but it's every day. That's $50 a week, yo. You imagine?
No, not enough.
No, but think about it, right? Because you've got a lot of people who, like, look, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but like, you have a lot of people who are very low income who are saying like, I'm not getting vaccinated, right? Like, there's a lot of low income folks, right? And again, that's not a judgment.
Right.
It's just reality. Like, it's just reality.
Yo,
$50 out of your check every week, it's a lot of money, yo. That's a lot of money.
I'm also not talking about the people who can, when I also say people who can't get vaccinated, I also mean people who are working jobs that they just can't get away from to get vaccinated right now because there are people who are in those situations. I'm not talking about those folks.
Who?
Yeah.
Who? Like, well, I'm not. Who? At this point, you could never find a weekend to get vaccinated. It don't take hours. No, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. That sounds like a bullshit excuse to me. You don't have time to go to get.
I'm not talking about people who are in super low income situations where getting the vaccine may be a little bit harder than someone else.
All right. I'll be nice. Fine.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
I mean, it's kind of my thing. So,
but yeah, I mean,
but people who can and just choose not to, right? Like in the state of Maryland, I can't speak on other states because I'm not there, but in the state of Maryland, you can go on, was it MD Vax or whatever, or VaxMD, and you just put in your zip code and there's a bunch of places. And now that the rush is over, you can just go in. like that same day. It's not like, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks from now. You can just go in and get a shot.
They set up a vaccine clinic every week at the park I go to, and it's like right next to the dog park, the playground, and the soccer field. And it's also where pretty much all the people of color go. And it's always packed. Always.
Hey, look, however you do it, just do it. Right? Like there is no magical cure. The vaccine is not a cure. It is to keep your ass from dying. That is what it is for. Right? Like I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, well, people are still getting it. A small amount of people are still getting it, even though they got the vaccine. And I was told it wasn't supposed to do that. I was like, no, you weren't. You were never told that. They never said that you can't get COVID if you got vaccinated. They never said that. They said the exact opposite. You were not paying attention, right? That is a problem. So it's to keep people from dying. And yes, I know there was a fucking article about some poor son of a bitch who died and he was fully vaccinated. Like, yeah, that can statistically happen, but still 99% of people who are dying are people who aren't vaccinated. Right. Like 1 out of 100,000 people, not even 100,000, it's well over 100,000. Like 1 out of 700,000 people have these severe reactions, to COVID after being fully vaccinated. And some of those people die is such a small amount, right? Like some people have massive, reactions to aspirin, right? Billions of people take aspirin every fucking year. You can't just say this is bad because of that. Like, that's not how it works. So stop making excuses. Like, please stop making excuses.
And if you're choosing to, if you're someone that doesn't like the mandates, then
stay your ass home.
Tough titty. I don't care. Like the business owners have a right to protect themselves and their employees and their other patrons. And it really infuriates me when I read and hear stories of business owners who have to deal with unruly customers, who won't follow the rules. And also, airlines are starting to do it too. Like United has mandated, I think, proof of vaccination for their crew. I'm not sure if it extends to passengers.
No, I don't think any airlines has done passengers yet. My guess is they're all waiting for the FDA.
Yeah.
The second that gets done, you're going to see a bunch of mandates, dude. Like, companies not dealing with that. You think they want to have to duct tape some asshole to a chair when they ask him to pull his mask up? No, they're not dealing with that shit.
And also, cruise lines are trying to figure out the best way to do that as well.
Don't go on a cruise. Don't go on a cruise before, during, or after this pandemic. Cruises are petri dishes, man.
Yeah, like people get sick on cruises on a regular day. Yeah, when's your cruise?
You love cruises, don't you? Of course you
when's your cruise?
You love them. I've only been on one, and I'm not impressed.
I do love cruising. I've only been sick once. That's because I got seasick.
Okay.
But no, 27 people tested positive on a Carnival cruise ship. But guess what?
You still going?
No, they were all vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know why? Because cruise ships are petri dishes.
They are, they are. It's like a weirdly closed environment.
Look, I will when it's safer.
You can't wait to get back out in the high seas. Like, I'm out of here. I don't think I told the story. I'm sure you can. I mean, I'll send it to the two of you, not to the public. But so my father-in-law was on a cruise. Him and my nephew, they were on a cruise in near Japan.
I remember you said this.
Yeah, when this was all going on, my nephew wasn't supposed to go. I was supposed to go. I'm glad, in hindsight, I didn't. They were cruising around Japan and in the Far East at the time COVID broke out, right? Like that was like, oh shit, this is happening, right? And it was like happening in China, and their ship docked in China, like in Hong Kong, I think. And they were they took on passengers. And so then none of these other ports, they kept going to different countries' ports. And they were like, you just picked up people in China? They were like, yeah. They were like, nah, you can't come here. It was crazy. My father-in-law was sending us videos from his phone, while he was on this ship. Like, he was on CNN. He got interviewed with like a bunch of things. Like, there's a great article with him and my nephew sitting on a cruise ship, like drinking wine. They're like, yes, like the terror on the high seas. They're like, yeah, because like they were running out of food. Like, it was kind of crazy. Like, it was just
that is
nuts.
so scary.
Yeah, but neither one of them ever popped positive for COVID. One
Thankfully.
lady on their ship popped positive, but it turned out to be like a false positive. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but they were in the middle of this shit. Like, they ended up having to like go to a military base in Cambodia and then fly back through like near Pakistan. It was just like a fucking thing. Like, they got rerouted over Iran. Like, I was like, are you back? Good. Just don't go anywhere. Right. And like, after that, my father-in-law, who's upstairs right now, he was like, yeah, I'm looking at another cruise. I'm like, you just not gonna learn any lessons?
Look,
Like, what are you doing?
To all my vaccinated folks out there who are waiting to go travel, especially by
down.
cruise ship, don't let these two bitter niggas cruise shame you. Okay.
I didn't say anything. I agree with Micah, but I didn't say that.
Hey, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Sitting on a boat. Fuck out of here. It takes forever.
What did you do? What did you go in the Royal Caribbean to like the Bahamas from Port of Baltimore?
Damn, listen to the judgment. Listen to the
judgment. I flew to Miami. And
then cruise to the Bahamas.
Would you cruise to Key West or like?
No, we cruised to
She calling you broke.
Great Crispus Bay or some shit like that, and to Nassau.
Of course you went to that. Of course you went to Nassau. I'm surprised. I'm shocked to know you weren't in fucking Freeport.
Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna say there are other types of cruises where European ones or Australian ones. But kind of going back to what Micah said earlier about not wanting the government to overreach in the Philippines. Their president, Duterte, the guy who like killed all the drug dealers.
Duterte, yep.
He was like, if you don't get vaccinated, you won't be able to leave your house.
Yeah, he wasn't fucking around. That's when it's a slippery slope, when you have an authoritarian as president.
Like, we don't want that to happen. I mean, like he was like, look, we will have the police like make sure that you stay in your house. That shit is scary to me.
Yeah. Like, that's fair. Like, China was like nailing people's doors shut. Like, during the fucking early parts of the pandemic, they're like, stay your ass in the house. That's not happening here.
It's not happening, but I would be lying if part of me, didn't wish that some people.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you think it is going to happen. Oh, you're wishing it upon others.
For some people.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I thought you were going like young Hotep. No, you're just being mean. All right, that's fair. I can respect that. I'm
not being mean. I'm being human.
Yeah, mean. That's just what I said.
Yeah, I feel like there are other people who are probably listening to this and are probably like, some places. Yeah,
oh yeah, I can think of a couple of states we could just build a wall, if you will, and a dome around them. All right, I think that is it for us on mandates for the COVID vaccine and the slippery slopes that do not exist. We'll be back next week with Miss Evers Boys. Again, you can watch it on HBO Max, all about the Tuskegee Experiment, or you can simply Google it and find it on YouTube for free as well. So check out Miss Evers Boys, and we will see you guys next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.